Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. It is exactly 17 after 8 o'clock, and we're going to be talking with counseling psychologist and career guidance consultant. She's also a lecturer, and she is Zakiyya Essa. Zakiyya, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the program.
Walaikum salam. Jazakallah so much for having me on your show today.
No, the pleasure is entirely mine, and thank you indeed for being so flexible for coming on first on the show. Lovely to be, lovely to be talking with you this morning. Now we're all
Yes, and
aware that
Jazakallah so much.
the hype has died down. Well, firstly, there was the anticipated wait for the Matric results. I think there was a bit of disappointment there as well because in the past, we all know that during the December holidays was when we received Matric results, and there was so much of hype around it. I know that entire families and communities didn't go to bed that night because they wait for the newspapers, and at exactly at about 12 o'clock when the newspapers hit the streets is when obviously the excitement started. This year it was a little different once again. We don't quite know what was the issue with the Department of Education. They didn't seem to get their act together, and the Matric results were only published last week. Nonetheless, we've had some amazing results, some amazing young people that have absolutely, broken the glass ceiling, as it were. And very proudly, a young Muslim girl from Durban was voted the best student in South Africa. So, of course, that being said, we know that we need to commend the families of the students or the learners that have done exceptionally well, teachers, schools, communities, etc., etc., etc. However, on the flip side, we also have learners that haven't done well or as well as expected, haven't passed, probably have failed miserably for whatever the reasons were. There might be issues around dysfunctional family situations. There might be issues about troubled teens, a whole host of issues. There might be issues around bullying. And all of that would be the total makeup of the learners that didn't make good this time around. So, how do we help these young people to cope with the disappointing results? And how do we assist them to go forward in a very meaningful manner? Because if the structures are not in place, we're going to have a huge dropout rate. We're going to have a whole host of young people who are totally disillusioned, and they're going to slip through the cracks. Zakiyya.
Mm, gee. So Julie, a lot of students that I see uh, often just sort of expect that I'm going to come through, I'm going to make it, and it's great when you have the positive energy and positive attitude. But the reality is that when the actual time comes, like you saying, whether it's due to some family dysfunction, whether it's performance anxiety, even, but sometimes they do slip through the cracks. And it's obviously on one part, it's a team effort to go through your matric year. So you've got your student, you've got your parent, you've got your teacher, you've even got the friends, and it's sort of it should be a team effort to work together and try and pull the students through. Um, but they understandably it's a lot of joy and also a lot of disappointment for some, for many in fact, especially I think the past few years with COVID, it's been very, very difficult for a lot of students who've either had to navigate the online learning space, transitioning from that back into school, or not having the right facilities to cope, the right access to tuition, and so on. So it's quite a difficult one when, that students have to face. But ultimately, it comes down to developing sort of a more of a growth mindset. So I think sometimes we are stuck in kind of a fixed mindset surrounding what matric means to us. As students also, if you think back to your own schooling days as well, it's what does this year mean to you? And for a lot of students, it's that end of the year results that I'm going to get are going to be in the papers or not, and you kind of work towards this one singular goal, which is not, shouldn't be a singular goal to attain. You should be thinking much broader than that. Having said that, it's also quite a hype, like you're saying, around matric results. So naturally, there's a kind of performance anxiety that we do see coming through in a lot of students, not just the students who don't do as well, even in those top performing students. There's a lot of stress that goes into the year. So, in terms of coping, I think it's important to start building that resilience earlier on. Obviously, it does help if a student has the right support structure around them to help them navigate that minefield of matric. And also to realize that even if your results were not, up to your standards, there are options available. So it's how you can choose the way that you respond to your situation. You are in control of that much. And often students just feel like, it's the end of the road. I can't really do anything else. I'll have to wait the whole year to repeat matric. My friends are all going off to varsity and I'm stuck at home. So it's just, to say, you need to kind of say, okay, we've now got this set of results that we're sitting with. What do I want to do about this? Do I need to upgrade marks to move forward? How can I adjust my expectations? Maybe I didn't get in for the course I wanted to. So you start looking at those contingency plans in place as well. But absolutely allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. And, ultimately you have to also say, well, we can't cry over spilt milk. And we try to just take the next step forward, even if it's one step, just to say, we're supplementaries, that's a start. And obviously just kind of looking out for your own mental health. And parents can also, start becoming more aware of the signs. If you see your child withdrawn, if you see they maybe getting angry, if you see they not in the right headspace, work with your child to try and figure out what is it that we can do to help. What do you need at that point in time? Some of them literally just need you to sit down and say, you know what, let's just look at the next step. Others just need you to sit down with them and say, hey, it's okay, there's another tomorrow. So it's not the end of the world. There's always something that we can do moving forward.
Okay, we need to take an ad break now, but I'm coming back with a whole host of questions regarding this issue. Teens seeming to feel that they know it all, pushing back, all the time against parents and figures of authority. And then I also want to touch on mental health issues. You spoke about COVID and mental health issues. That needs to be explored as well, because that kind of changed the dynamics of what was very normal and regular in our lives. And 2 years of an upended situation globally has definitely taken its toll. So mull on those questions, Zakiyya. I'll be back with you in a minute or two, inshallah.
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
There's no smell that takes me back to the comfort of my childhood than the smell of black seed oil being applied by my nanny. Now I'm using tib black seed in my own home to soothe sniffles and coughs, to help with digestion and immunity, and of course, as part of my beauty routine. After all these years, I've come to appreciate the wisdom in finding comfort and shifa in trusted treatments like tib black seed. You can find tib black seed at all leading pharmacies or find out more at blackseed.co.za.
Devastating floods in Pakistan have washed away villages, claimed the lives of more than 1,000 people, damaged nearly 1 million homes, and left over 33 million people in desperate need of help. As the catastrophe unfolds, Islamic Relief is on the ground, reaching people with life-saving aid. Our team are working tirelessly to deliver food and shelter. Your support is urgently needed now to help save more lives. Donate now to Islamic Relief.
The kitchen, the heart of the home, where memories are made and celebrated. Our go-to place for those freshly stacked pancakes early in the morning or for that late-night snack munchies. We are in there together, cooking, eating and celebrating life together. Let's keep the kitchen a place that is shared by everyone, where we build stronger bonds and grow together. Sunfoil, now we cooking. Visit nowwecooking.co.za for recipes that everyone can help make.
When the perfect blend of stylish decor, exquisite halal cuisine, and warm hospitality come together, it could only mean Al Bayt Lodge, your true home away from home. Al Bayt is the ideal heaven for families, business people, and tourists with its 4-star family rooms and other luxurious facilities. Conveniently situated close to Port Elizabeth Airport, the beach, and other amenities, your stay will be truly unforgettable, as you'll be taking home lasting memories of the warm hospitality, the serenity and tranquility that Al Bayt has to offer. For reservations, call 041 583 6415 or visit www.albaytlodge.co.za.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. It is exactly 8:29 a.m. You're listening to News and Views right here on Salam Media, and apologies for that. I was just fixing my mic. Welcome back. This is News and Views on Salam Media. We are talking with Zakiyya Essa. She is a counseling psychologist and a career guidance consultant, also a lecturer. Zakiyya, welcome back. And just as a matter of interest, where do you lecture?
So I've been doing lecturing with SACAP, that's the South African College of Applied Psychology. They've got a lovely campus in Joburg in Cape Town and also the online campus. Since COVID, I've been part of the online team.
Wow. Okay, great stuff. Are you finding more and more young people, and is that time of year where young people are going to start making career choices? Are you finding there's a lot of interest in the field of psychology?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, as a campus, just looking at the number of students who are sort of registering, the team has sort of taken on a lot more lecturers on board as well. So you can see there is a growing interest in mental health in general. Not just for people to take up the service, so to speak, but also practitioners who want to start assisting other people if they've been through a situation and, gravitating naturally towards the helping field. And that's actually very hopeful, Julie. It's often, you often see students who are on antidepressants, anti-anxiolytics, and it's unprecedented the amount of students that I've seen in recent years who are on depression, anxiety medication, ADHD, ADD medication. So we do need to increase coping skills across the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is a sad reality. I have a close family member. In fact, it's my sister-in-law. She's a medical doctor with a very keen interest in mental health. She's been, working in the mental health field for, close on to 30 years. And she has also indicated that COVID, really one of the very negative, well, everything about COVID was absolutely negative, the lockdown. But she says more, the realization is that mental health is such a huge problem globally. And on the plus side, she is suggesting that just as well, so that hopefully the stigma can be, taken out of mental health issues. And people should be more accepting. People should realize and accept a mental health issue like a physical health issue as well. Your thoughts?
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it, better myself. Often, I think people neglect the physical health as well. But when it comes to mental health, because it's such a taboo around either seeing a counselor, what it means to go see a counselor, what it means to say, I'm not feeling okay. And, it's just, the expectation is just sort of up and go, gather your emotions, shove them in the bag, carry it with you, and just, plod along through life. And that's not the way it should be, because it really weighs you down. So, we
Yeah,
all struggle
absolutely.
with time to
Mhm.
time, and we really need to look after ourselves as much as you breathe, eating, sleeping, all of these things impact your mental well-being. So it does definitely start with the physical and works together with the mental.
Absolutely. So, really, the heart of the topic here really is about how to cope with disappointing matric results. And if the parents are not coping with the situation, they're not going to be able to support the learner who has either failed hopelessly or hasn't had good results at all. So what sort of, what sort of positive speak should parents, be having with the learner? What other type of support needs to be in place? And what I'm also worried about is um, families may not necessarily have the resources to engage with a professional psychologist in the situation. They may not have the money. What sort of resources are available for young people to access so that they can start feeling better about themselves?
Well, thankfully, Sister Joy, we've got access to the internet where there's a wide range of resources, online services as well that might not be, you can access therapists online as well. There are government programs that help with sort of second chance matric and that type of thing. But in terms of offering mental health support, you've got your organizations like SADC, for example, who are doing incredible work, offering a free telephonic service for students. There's courses that one can take. There's absolutely no shortage of information, but it's just people should be willing to keep an open mind and go out there, read up, access coping resources, whether it's online. Often you'll find through your Google Suite, you might find some courses on Coursera. You might find some free courses on mental health and coping, edX. There's some talks. If you subscribe to a certain person with a good positive energy, someone who could be a mentor, reach out to them. So it's a team effort, and if we just went, so we've got no shortage of information, but it's just reaching out that I think many people struggle with that.
Okay, finally.
So even parents, they can't pour from an empty cup. Parents are really strapped, not just emotionally, but financially. They, in terms of trying to make ends meet. So our focus sometimes as parents is on other things than saying, well, you've got food on the table, you've got clean clothes and a bed to lie in. That's where our duty ends. But parents themselves can't pour from an empty cup. So it will do us all well to, get our mental health checked in, so that you can pour from half a cup at least.
Finally, let's look at the issue, and this is my final question because I do have my next guest on standby. Pushback from teens. And we know that at that age, they very, they've got the sense of that they know it all. And the older people are old school. They don't know anything. They're not with the times, etc., etc. So, you'll get a lot of pushback from them, and not realizing that all the advice given to them is very, very well meant. And also taking into consideration that not all of our children, have, they're just not academic material. So try as you might, and as much support as you do put in place, they're not academically inclined, and whatever your aspirations are for your child to be a doctor, lawyer, whatever else, you're going to have to come to terms with the realization that it ain't going to happen. Uh, how's that conversation going to play out with the learner, and how do you talk about the other great available options? I mean, when I think about plumbers, they are really in demand all over the world, and they are demanding top dollar, are they not, for their services?
Yes, absolutely. You just see December calling the plumber an emergency plumber, and you really pay through your teeth.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a very important point, because I think parents, it's a lot of the expectations that you navigate are actually with the parents, because students are in a new world. So those old careers, so to speak, the old-fashioned careers, the traditional, you just do your essay, you go into law, accounting, medicine, and if you're not one of those things, then you're not really doing much with your life. I think those expectations do and have been shifting, even amongst the older population. But I think students are also not as well informed about the other options that do exist. And unfortunately, there is still stigma surrounding, the TVET colleges and skills-based fields, the artisanships, the trades. And that's actually where the skills, the important skills, we've got such a great shortage in the country and worldwide as well. So I think there is sort of a top-down approach where the institutions do need to start helping students to understand some of the alternative options available. The schools obviously do need to do a little bit more work there, but even just parents to inform themselves and say, hey, I think COVID really smacked us awake to say, you know what, there's so much out there that one can do, and not everybody is university material. That's absolutely okay. We don't need a whole host of university graduates who anyway come out with a 4-year qualification or 3-year qualification and find themselves struggling to find a job. Whereas you can be a self-taught artisan. You can go and do short courses, go onto Udemy, go and explore a little bit and see what's out there, and make a greater effort. So definitely parents do need to adjust their expectations. And then I think students, need to learn to become a bit more open-minded and develop that grit and resilience as well. But yeah, these all take time and a lot of effort.
Absolutely, and all is not lost. All is not lost. Zakiyya Essa, it was wonderful talking to you. You are a counseling psychologist, career guidance consultant, and also a lecturer. And thank you so very much for your time this morning. Go well, and Khuda Hafiz.
My absolute pleasure. Zakiyya, so much to you and to your listeners.
8:40 exactly, news and views on Salam Media. I've just been told that Chris Yelland is standing by to talk to us about, yes, you've guessed it, the energy crisis in this country. So please do stay with us. He'll be joining us in literally a minute's time.